What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of the Premier League SPURSPECTIVE, where we're going to take a look at the weekend's games just gone and, react to our score predictions from Predict the Prem. And we have our scores running at the moment, which as it stands, it's 49 points to Simeon, 36 points to me, so I've got some catching up to do, and this week does not bode well for me. I'm not going to lie. It's getting worse and worse as the weeks go on. But there is a long season ahead, so so there is plenty of time to catch up. I'm not going to lie. And
That's what you're hoping for.
Yeah. Let me just remind you how the score works. So it's 1 point for a correct result, 3 points for a correct result, and both teams to score. And I've seen some confusion about this in the comment section in some of our videos. So what it means is that, let's say Tottenham win 3-1 and the score, we say the Tottenham win 3-1 and it's predicted as 2-1, that's 3 points. But if it's 3-1 and you predict 2-0, that means it's only 1 point, and that also stands if there is not both teams to score as well. So if it's 2-0 and you only predict 1-0, then that's 3 points, and vice versa. So
yeah, it's pretty simple. If you get the result right, and you also get if both teams score correct, whether it's yes or no, then you get an extra 2 points for that.
Exactly. So that's 3 points for that, 5 points for a complete correct score, and then there's Star Man as well, where we both pick a player each week, and if they score, you get 2 points. If they assist, you get 1 point. And let's start off with the first game of the weekend, which was Crystal Palace against Tottenham. Finished 3-0 to Crystal Palace. I went to 1-0 to Spurs. You went 2-1 to Spurs. So that's a big fat 0 for both of us.
Yep, absolutely. That was a terrible result. So quickly move on from that, the better. We've spoken enough about that bloody game.
Yeah. Let's move over to Arsenal against Norwich. It finished 1-0 to Arsenal. I went 2-0. You went 2-1. So I gain 3 points. Well, I gain 2 points on you there because you get 1 point, I get 3 points, which makes it a nice round number for Simeon, 50, 39 to me. And Arsenal...
You clap at 50, don't you?
Yeah, this ain't the cricket, mate. And yeah, Arsenal, would you say they were lucky to get away with the 3 points?
They're lucky to score the goal that they scored, which was a bloody lucky goal, but because I'll tell you why in a minute. But from what I've seen, they completely dominated Norwich and should have deserved to win. So can't complain about that. But with their goal, it was so lucky because Pepe has a shot, it comes off the post, and then he has another shot which Aubameyang is offside for. He comes off the post and hits hits Pepe again and falls to Aubameyang and scores. And if it doesn't hit Pepe for the second time back off the post, it's offside. So they got very lucky with that goal to have worked out for them. But fair play, look. It was always most likely they were going to get their first win of the season here. But look, only 1-0 against Norwich, so it wasn't a landslide. And they got a lot tougher test to come, and we got us coming over soon. So we'll see how they fare. But fair play to Arsenal getting their first win.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's one of a few.
Yeah, obviously there was so many games at 3 o'clock this weekend, and we were on our way back from Palace on the day, so didn't get to see much football this weekend. But let's move over to Brentford against Brighton. Both of us predicting draws 2-2 and 1-1, but it finished 1-0 to Brighton, and Brighton's really good start to the season carries on.
Yeah, and I should have started my instinct to go on Brighton. I usually go with the Brighton win, but yeah.
If Brighton's result come through every week, they'll be winning the league for you.
Honestly. But look, good result for them. Last minute winner from Trossard, lovely finish as well. But not on the game. Did you see Tony's comments on Arsenal?
No.
He did. He was on this podcast yesterday, and he was talking about the guy asked him, such a big result against Arsenal first of the season. Like, how was it getting such a scab here? And he was like, kind of saying like, well, Arsenal. Everyone was saying how it's going to be tough, but I wasn't scared. Like, I don't think they're as good anymore as they used to be. And like, beating Arsenal is not this whole big thing as it used to be. Beating Arsenal, it's not as big as it used to be, and stuff like that. And then he was saying how I don't see Arsenal winning anything anytime soon. He said the way they were playing, and he's like, unless they sign a striker, and he's like hinting he wants to move to Arsenal. Yeah, but yeah, it was interesting hearing Tony's thoughts about that and how it was easy to bully them and stuff like that.
Even the Brentford manager, after the game or the day after the game or something, was saying that him and his team in the dressing room all expected to win that game.
Wow. That goes to show how they've fallen.
Yeah. But look, let's move on. No points to anyone in that one. Let's move over to Leicester against Man City. I went for 1-1. You went for 1-0. And that is absolutely spot on. 1-0 to Man City. What did you make out of this one?
Good result for City, because
very good result for City.
Leicester
wasn't it?
are a tough place to go, and especially with they ended up having
Scott
the
Carson
players.
goal.
No, they ended up having all the Brazilians played in the end. They ended up coming to an agreement with FIFA, so none of the Brazilians missed out. Leicester still feel a bit unlucky because Vardy had a really tight offside go against him, which could have been let Leicester 1-0 up. But Bernardo Silva was brilliant. And I think it might be a case of Bernardo Silva where sometimes, a bit like when we signed, obviously to a different extent, but a bit like when we signed David Bentley, like it made Aaron Lennon completely up his game, and even though we signed Bentley for big money, it kind of, the best thing about the Bentley signing was like getting the best out of Lennon. And I feel like maybe the same could be happening with signing Grealish and getting the best out of Silva, because he was absolutely brilliant in this game, and he's had a kind of a tough time past couple of years after a really great season 3 seasons ago. But maybe we could be seeing him back to his best now, because he was fantastic.
And it was widely reported by everyone that he wanted to leave in the summer, and he was close to leaving, and it just never happened. But look,
you know how good he is. He's so good, and if he's on his game and if he's got confidence and everything, he's going to be a big player for them. So he's easily a title-winning player for any team.
Of sure. I mean, they were talking about him as the heir to David Silva's throne, and he could be back onto that way now.
He's brilliant.
But let's move on. As it is now, it's 55 to you, 39 to me, falling even further behind. What is going on? Man United against Newcastle, both of us going for 4-0.
It was 4-1
but the game was 4-1. So I know it says 4-0 there, but it was 4-1. Look, Cristiano Ronaldo back at it, 2 goals. The first goal was nice poacher's effort. The second goal, I mean, the way he takes it into his stride and finishes it in that bottom corner, I mean, the guy is back. He's back, isn't he?
Brilliant finish. I thought the second goal, the way he took that from behind him was world class. So underrated, that kind of touch. Most strikers either don't follow either get a touch that doesn't take the ball directly in front of them, or gets the ball stuck under their feet in that kind of situation. He turned an average pass into a through ball through on goal, basically. He did, and that was absolutely brilliant. And look, he's going to be scoring a lot of goals, I think, in this league for sure. And Pogba as well. You got to say 7 assists now in 4 games. This guy, I think with Pogba, he's been reinvigorated by signing Ronaldo, Varane, and Sancho. And also he's in his last year of his contract, so if he is going to leave, he wants definitely a queue of clubs making sure they're paying top dollar for him. I always, when players in their last year of their contracts, I feel they give their best, and they always play like a bit like Edouard. Whenever he was looking for a contract, he always upped his game. I feel like
best player in the league when he was looking for a contract.
So I feel like might be the same with like Pogba now. And I feel like he's been reinvigorated. Maybe he feels like they're matching his ambitions finally, going to challenge for a title and stuff like that. And I think maybe if they're having the best Pogba, as well as adding Ronaldo, Sancho, Greenwood's on great form as well, it's going to be hard to stop.
And what goals from Bruno Fernandes and Jesse Lingard as well. Both of them absolutely brilliant goals. But Bruno's goal, I mean, he picked that one out, didn't
Unbelievable
he?
Unbelievable goal. We know he could do that from outside the box. You give him any sort of space, and he can always has the ability to do that. But yeah, Lingard's goal, what impressed me was their link-up play between the interchanges between all the United forwards as well. Martial coming off the bench, doing a brilliant dummy into Lingard, and he was a good finish as well. And you know what, Lingard, you got to say, I saw him in pre-season. I thought he was looking really good again, like carrying on his kind of form from his West Ham spell. And if you can add that to Man United squad as well, man, their squad is looking deep all of a sudden, looking like good quality. And it's like they're going to be difficult to stop. But the only thing stopping them, I think, is just, there's Chelsea and City there who are on par. But at the moment, Man United look like they're coming in strong. But it was only Newcastle, to be fair. So
it is only Newcastle.
Can't judge it too much. But
it is only Newcastle. But look, you can only beat what's put in front of you. Newcastle actually put up a really good fight in that first half. But United were just too strong at the end of the day.
Second time this season at home, they've been pegged back from taking the lead. They've been pegged back with an equaliser, and they pretty much hit back instantly and completely run riot. Same happened against Leeds when they won 5-1. So they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think.
Yeah, most definitely. And the way I look at it, the way it's shaping up at the moment, obviously there's a long season to go, but Chelsea and Man United really do look like the 2 front runners at the moment.
Yeah, and also got Cavani to come back as well. They got options as well.
Yeah. Let's move on to Southampton against West Ham. Finished 0-0. Both of us going for West Ham wins and both teams to score 0 points on the day. I mean, West Ham will probably be a bit disappointed with themselves and Antonio getting sent off as well. Yeah,
that'll be. I think they'll be very disappointed because that means he's ruled out for next week's game. I don't know who they're playing, but they're
playing Man U.
So they're playing United, and a bit like, so that's massive,
Yeah.
and a bit like Spurs with Kane. They don't really have a backup striker for him, and so they're very much relying on him. And the big worry for West Ham was whether he was going to get injured. So it must be all the more frustrating that he's not injured. He's been suspended for a game for getting sent off. So that's 2 draws in a row now for West Ham. So the great starts of the season, maybe a bit of a dampener, but still unbeaten. So look, 3 wins and 2 draws, they would have taken that if you offered it to them at the beginning of the season. So not terrible. And Southampton, again, showing that although they didn't win, they got a draw home to United, draw home to West Ham. They're not going to be the easiest nut to crack, I don't think, as much as people predict them for relegation. So a decent result for them as well.
As we move over to Watford against Wolves, it finished 2-0 to Wolves. I got it absolutely spot on. I think that might even be my first 5-pointer of the season,
Is it?
or my first 5-pointer that we both haven't got at the same time. Maybe. You went for 1-0. It was very funny because we were in the car back on the way back from Selhurst Park, and Wolves scored their first goal, then they scored their second goal. So you got happy, then I got happy. But look, it's a 5 points that I very much needed. You get 3 points for this one, as it's 59-45 now. But yeah, Wolves had to get to winning ways after 3 kind of losses to the start of the season, but they're impressive losses because they actually played well in all 3 games.
And they impressed in this game as well. They dominated. I know they all took an own goal to get their first goal, but it was a goal they definitely deserved. And Watford have they lost every game since the start of the season? No, they won their
first game.
I'm saying since that game.
Yeah, since that game they have.
4, so it's 1 win and 4 losses. No, 1 win and 3 losses.
Yeah.
So maybe it goes to show that win was a bit maybe papering over the cracks. Because you also got to remember in that win as well, they were 3-0 up. They also conceded 2 late goals. So they nearly gave it away at the end as well. Yeah. So Watford maybe got to start backing up their ideas a bit if they're going to stable for relegation battle.
Yeah.
But Wolves, I got to say, again, really impressive. They've created the most chances and had the most shots so far in the league, and very impressive, and clean sheet as well. Adama Traore causing all sorts of havoc. They just need Jimenez to get off the mark, and then maybe he can shake off whatever is holding him back at the moment, because he hasn't scored yet, and obviously that injury, we know how that happened. And also who I was very impressed with from looking just from the highlights, I didn't obviously watch the game, but Trincao looks so good, man. He looks really good. He's only
bagged an assist as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. And he's only 18 or 19. I believe he's still very young, and he's coming to the Premier League. And against us, he was impressive for parts. Against Man United, I thought he was brilliant. He gave Man United no end of trouble and should have scored at least 1 goal in that game. And yesterday, put in some really good passes. He looks like he's going to be a real player for them.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that when I'm looking at the 2 sides that have come up in Watford and Norwich, I mean, they're both just not really doing much so far in the Premier League, where when you look at Brentford, they actually seem like they're coming to play football this year. So, I mean, I can't see, I know it's only 4 games in and maybe it's a bit harsh, but I think Watford and Norwich could be going straight back down.
Pretty harsh, but Wolves maybe could surprise some people potentially. But the way they've started the season, man, I've been super. I know it's 3 defeats and 1 win, but I've been super impressed. Super impressed.
All right, let's move over to the last game on the Saturday, which was Chelsea against Villa. 3-0 all round. 3-0 there was this result, and both of us predicting 3-0. So 5 points for both of us in this one, and Chelsea just start carrying on their absolutely barnstorming start to the season. Lukaku on fire once again, and this Chelsea side look a bit unbeatable at the moment. They really do.
Brilliant second goal from Lukaku as well. Also the first goal, to be fair, the pass from Kovacic in behind to Lukaku, and the way he held off the defender and slid past the keeper was good. But the second goal, edge of the area, smashes it into the top corner. Brilliant finish from Lukaku. He looks like bang on it since the start of the season, and that's the thing with Lukaku. You just the way he was playing at Inter Milan, the way he's changed his game, you just knew that he was going to absolutely hit the ground running as soon as he came to Chelsea. You knew that was like
wasn't even a question.
I couldn't believe anyone like questioning whether he would. This is like, oh, are we going to get the Lukaku who was at United?
I didn't even see anyone questioning it.
Like, no, it was so obviously going to be a complete game changer, this Lukaku signing, and I think it's proving to be that at the moment. He really is the missing piece of their jigsaw, isn't he? Because in this game, last season, this game probably would have finished 1-0 with a goal from a goal from somewhere. But like this season, with a killer like Lukaku just gobbling up all these chances, they're going to create so many chances for him, and it's scary for. And another 3-0 win, and they even throughout that game they didn't even get out of second gear really.
They're absolutely unbelievable, and I think that when when I'm comparing Chelsea to Manchester United, I think actually Man United might have a better quality of squad in terms of personnel, but I think where the real difference is the managers. I think Thomas Tuchel has really come in and stamped his authority, and he looks like the real deal, and he's getting the team playing like the real deal. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, on the other hand, yeah, he's doing all right as Man United manager. You can't really knock him, but I think that it complete levels between the two managers.
Yeah, I think that system he's got with Chelsea in the back three is giving him an extra element of protection and creativity and fluidity, which teams are finding struggling to match at the moment.
All right, so it's 64-50 to Sim as we move over to the Sunday game, which was Leeds against Liverpool at Ellen Road. Finished 3-0 to Liverpool. Sim went 3-1 to Liverpool, so he gains a point there, and I went for 1-1. Leeds have had a really shocking start to the season when you really think about how they were doing last year. Liverpool have started the season really, really well. How impressed were you with Liverpool on Sunday?
Yeah, really impressed. I thought they were brilliant, even before the bad injury, which obviously marred the game with Harvey Elliott. Wish him a speedy recovery.
Proper player, by the way, Harvey.
Yeah, he looks really good. 18 years of age, and what has impressed me is he came to Liverpool as a winger, and he's now playing in central midfield, and he's looking really great. He's like adaptable. Clearly, it shows he's like doing a really good role. But I feel bad for him because he was playing a great game, and obviously that challenge was so innocuous and so unfortunate, and ending up, breaking. Seems to be breaking his ankle or whatever it is. He's going to be out for a long time. Very worrying sight, but he looks like a real player. So yeah, that was a massive shame for him. But yeah, Liverpool were brilliant, I thought, throughout the whole game. It could have 3-0 flattered Leeds, in my opinion. It could have been so much more. The amount of openings Liverpool created, which they didn't make the most of. It was
Mane,
so many.
How many chances did he miss during
Unbelievable.
the game?
Unbelievable. Did he score in the end?
He scored in the end.
Yeah, he did score in the end.
He scored in the end, and in his celebration, he's like saying sorry to his teammates because he should have had so many more goals.
There was like a couple of times people had like a 2-on-1 with the keeper, and they screwed it up like a couple of times. Yeah. And Mane in the first half missed an open goal, skying over the bar. Second half, he squared it, under hit a pass, a bit very similar if you remember when we played Fiorentina in the Europa League when Soldado squared it to Chadley.
I remember I was
that
there.
One. Very similar incident happened in this game to that. But Liverpool, again, showing that they mean business this season. They put in such a convincing performance, barely gave Leeds a chance pretty much throughout the game. And it was a really convincing display. Mane, Salah and Jota looking ferocious up front.
Who I was really impressed with was Thiago Alcantara. I thought in the middle of the park, I thought he was absolutely sensational, pulling the strings for Liverpool. I mean, he was absolutely everywhere. And I haven't been impressed with him since he's joined Liverpool, but in this game, I thought he completely ran the show. And I think that Leeds are going to be disappointed with their start of the season. They really are. They didn't pose too much of a threat, just a few half chances from Bamford. But Liverpool, storming start to the season. And yeah, let's talk about that red card for a second, because the way I look at it, it should never have been a red card.
Yeah, I agree. I think the referee was wrong to give the red card. I think that he actually initially didn't even give a foul. But people mistakenly think that the referee VAR gave the red card. It wasn't. He gave the red card on the pitch himself because he had a discussion with the officials on the sidelines, not VAR officials, other officials like linesmen and stuff, and they gave the red card on the pitch, decided, and VAR looked at it and didn't.
Only because of the injury.
It was only because of the injury. But there is a moment if you in a challenge, if you like kind of pause it, you can see him kind of in the air a bit.
His leg is trailing.
Not just trailing,
that went
he
over
kind
the
of jumped
ankle.
into the challenge. That was the problem. So they made a decision that it was a bit of a
reckless,
not reckless but uncontrolled, which I guess you could call it reckless. But people comparing it to the Son challenge is different because it's not the same as the Son challenge. The Son challenge, he made Gomez go off balance, and then Gomez fell into Aurier, and then Aurier was his challenge, was actually the one that broke his leg. And so Son's challenge didn't even break his leg. That's why it was overturned. Whereas the Sturridge challenge, it's not going to be overturned because Sturridge's challenge actually caused a broken angle from Harvey Elliott. So I think he's unfortunate, Sturridge, because it was actually a good challenge initially, and obviously there was no intent to harm Elliott, and it was just an unfortunate sequence of events. But the referee, seeing the injury, I guess he just decided he has to give the red. He probably thought everyone was going to go mad if he didn't give a red there, so he gave it. It's unfortunate for Sturridge, though.
It is. It is. So at the end of that, at the end of Sunday, it's 65 to Sim, 50 to me, 15 points is the gap as we move over to the last game, which is Everton against Burnley. Finished 3-1 to Everton, both of us going for 2-0, and very impressive from Everton, coming a goal behind against Burnley. I mean, they didn't look good in the first half, Everton, but second half, wow. I mean, what goals they scored.
Yeah, not only the goals they scored, but the football was brilliant, and it all changed once Andre Gomez came on. He brought Andre Gomez
pushed Decore into a number 10 role, and it changed everything.
Yeah, he put Andre Gomez on. He took a defender because they were playing a 3 at the back system. He changed it to a 4 at the back, added an extra man in midfield, and they were scintillating. Burnley just had no answers, and they hit 3 goals in 6 minutes, especially a goal from Andros Townsend. What a goal! What a goal that was from about good 30 yards out, right into the top corner. He's always threatening to do something like that. Andros usually ends up in the stands, but he does pick one out from now and then.
Every so often, yeah.
He definitely did that yesterday. He said on his post-match interview that his mum was sending him a compilation of his greatest goals before the game, and obviously gave him the confidence to try it. And what a goal it was! And look, to be fair, Andros always played the best period in Andros's career was that 6-month period he played at Newcastle, in my opinion, under Rafa Benitez. And maybe Benitez believes he can get that level of performance out of him again. And for the start,
he was
of the
brilliant
season,
throughout the game.
Yeah, he got man of the match, and him and Gray have come in for 1.7 million combined and made a great impact so far. First 4 games. Look, you will need to temper expectations because you've got to remember last year. Earlier on in the season, Everton had an amazing start. James Rodriguez and Calvert-Lewin were doing amazing things at the start of the season, and then James couldn't keep it up and all that kind of stuff. So do I really believe Demarai Gray is going to keep up 3 goals in 4 games for the rest of the season? I really don't. But you got to give credit. It's been a good signing so far. And to be fair, you could even argue for 1.7 million, he's already paid it back with 3 goals.
Definitely. I think
because
so.
We paid 25 million for Lucas Moura. He barely gets 3 goals in a season. So you know what I mean.
Well,
he does it
harsh
in a Premier League season. He
Does
rarely gets like over 5.
I mean, there was that one season where he got 9 or something.
Yeah, I said
you know what I
barely.
mean? Like, I think that.
How many goals did he get last season? 4.
Last season, yeah, but last season was an especially bad year for him, wasn't
season
it?
before that, how many Premier League goals he got season before that?
He got 3 last season, 4 the year before, and
So
then 10 the year before. Yeah,
And the year before that,
he didn't play. He played 6 games.
oh, he just signed. So there you go. So I was right. He barely gets over 3 goals in a season.
We need him back to 18-19 season. That's what we need.
Exactly.
So yeah, at the end of that, it's 66-51 to Simeon, and now we move over to the star man. Simeon picked Ronaldo, who scored 2 goals on his debut for Manchester United.
That was the obvious pick. I was surprised you didn't go for him.
Yeah, I was going to go for it, but then I knew you were going to pick for it, so I tried to be a bit clever, and it was a bit stupid, as I went for Antonio, who got bloody sent off.
You're lucky you don't get minus points.
I know.
Lucky.
On fantasy, I got minus points because he was my captain. I doubled down on him on fantasy as well, and it was the completely wrong call. But look...
He got player of the month curse.
Literally,
and
it's
Nuno
just like
manager
Nuno.
of the
Yeah,
month.
exactly.
Oh god.
So yeah, as it stands at the end, the scores are 70 to Simeon, 51 to myself. As we move over, to next week. So we'll see you next time for Predict the Prem on Thursday or Friday this week. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.